not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Welcome to Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new show this week. All kind of crazy stuff going on. We got the brand new market numbers out, and they're interesting. Huge drop, 30% drop in terms of new sales. That's very, very interesting. There also 40% drop in pending deals, a little over 40%. But the good news is some crazy news in here. Prices were up. Prices were up in median price, also average price, which I was a little shocked to see. They're pretty good. So that's great news for home sellers out there. We'll kind of talk about what's going on. Obviously, some huge news in interest rates this week. Had some news from the Federal Reserve, but obviously some of that had been built into mortgage interest rates already. We'll talk about that. They bumped back up again yesterday. So we have some good news, though, too. And I had this on last week's show. Just did not have a chance to get to it. 3 reasons and 3 separate graphs on why it's not 2008. Some major differences. And really one of the biggest we'll see and talk about today, I've noticed, is just inventory. Inventory is still very, very, very low. New homes being listed still very, very, very low. And that's what's protecting price right now, which is what made prices jump up because there's just not really anything available. So we'll talk about what happens there, kind of what's going on there. A lot of things we've been doing too that's been really helpful. I think it's very powerful right now. There's some rate buy downs. We've been helping our sellers just get creative and really do rate buy downs to buy the interest rate down for buyers. Been very, very beneficial for them, and getting a lot of stuff sold that was kind of just a little bit or maybe was having a challenge before. So we'll talk about that. We'll also look at how millennials are becoming the overall driving force right now behind the housing market. They're getting to be one of the largest age groups there is, and also they're having children, which is forcing them to move out from mom and dad's house and actually buy stuff. We're seeing that across the country right now. So we'll talk about what's going on and just really kind of do the same thing we've been doing here for 12 plus years. And that's just keeping you updated, everything real estate related here on the Grand Strand. Just to give you information for you to make good decisions with, usually for most people, their largest assets, which is real estate. And we give you the good, the bad, the ugly. And we always do one thing, which is give it to you straight. And so that's what we'll do today. Just really quick, if you want to go back and listen to any of these later on, you can go back into our Facebook and Sloan Realty Group, our YouTube channel under Sloan Realty Group, my personal page. If you want to follow me, Blake Sloan. And also we have these, we put them on podcast platforms for you. You can Google it. It's on all kind of, it's on Apple, it's on Google, all the major ones. If you want to do that, just search Blake Sloan Real Estate Radio Show and be able to find that there. So lots of great stuff. Stay tuned in, and I'll keep you updated what's going on today in the real estate market.
All right, a lot of stuff to get to. If you just tuned in for the very first time and you're not sure who you're listening to or what you're listening to, it's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, hosted by, of course, Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan has been called the Real Estate Whiz Kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, and other national publications. You may be seeing him on TV with NBC and also with Fox and Friends, the morning show. You've heard the personal endorsements here by Sean Hannity, also Barbara Corcoran, Gary LaWatts. Put them all together, it's just totally unprecedented. Now, that's one thing. But the other thing is that Blake has trademark systems for both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so we can't give you all the details, but more than happy every week to tell you the most important part of that system. Yes, you go so many horses.
Yeah, it's one thing that interesting there. That's one thing that's the whole reason I do this overall show is just because I really break down the biggest difference between most agents out there and the biggest mistake that most home sellers make and most home buyers make. And it comes down to the agent they choose. And I see this over and over. We actually had 2 of these horror stories this past week, which I'll share about that someone had prior to calling us. But they make this massive mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, and it could not be any further from the truth. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, we get this call all the time. And it's what I find is most people ask the wrong question, right? They call in, and the first question, the only question they had, we had a very, very sharp attorney call in this week and say, hey, the only question they'd ask is, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? And that's the wrong question, right? Because do you want the cheapest agent? You want the absolute best agent? And here's the deal. You want the best value for an agent. So what if you get the best agent for the same price as everyone else? And so you want to make sure you're asking yourself the right question. But here's the deal, right? The single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller comes down to one thing only. And that thing is the agent you choose, period. And I see so many horror stories every single week in the business and stuff that would just make you absolutely sick seeing happen out there. But I see the same mistakes over and over and over, right? They make the mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same, just like any doctor, any lawyer. If you're charged with a crime you did not commit, right? The last thing you want is just the cheapest attorney who just tried a few cases. But you want the absolute best, most aggressive, right, who specializes in that type of law, who has experience in that type of law, who can give you a competitive advantage in the courtroom. And that's the same exact amount of excellence you should demand for your largest asset in real estate. And so that's a big thing there. Also, on both the buyer and the seller side, same exact thing. And so what I notice is what most agents do is just the 3 Ps. They promise we'll get a listing. Number 2, they put it to MLS. And 3, they pray that someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they're down the street trying to get the next listing, or they're operating like most old school agents, which is 95% of agents really in the industry operates the same way as a single agent who was within a big brokerage, specifically a lot of times a big box brokerage. And so just like when I started out, I was at Remax at Coldwell Banker, and it was me and 200 other agents. And guess what? They didn't care about me. I didn't care about them. And so what you had is a bunch of individuals trying to do everything themselves, and it was not very efficient. I noticed that very quickly. I noticed a lot of things started falling off the table, specifically really serving the client. So I said, there's got to be a better way. And so how most agents are operating is one single agent is trying to juggle all the balls at the same exact time. So they're trying to do marketing, sales, work with buyers, work with sellers, do the marketing analysis, right? Do the actual marketing strategy, follow buyers, follow up with sellers, do the closing coordination, all the administrative work, call you back. And so the reason your agent doesn't call you back, not only because they don't want to, is because they don't have time to do so. And so what you have is most agents, there's like someone at McDonald's working the front register, the drive through the French fries at the same time. Very, very, very inefficient. And so that's why most people are unhappy. And that's why they most of the time don't get the result they want, especially right now in this current marketplace. And so what I did is said, look, there's got to be a better way. And I really studied all kinds of different businesses. I've been a student of business since I was a kid, from lemonade stands to investments to all kind of stuff. But the reality is I really hired these different coaches and sought out and said, look, what do people do outside of real estate? And how can we bring that same strategy in real estate and make it work? And that's the same exact thing we do. We create a team of specialists where each person specializes in what they do. And you stack that up and they really create a massive competitive advantage for our clients. So we reverse engineered every single thing that has to happen A to Z. So when you're selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what it does? It puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point, that costs you your hard-earned equity, the property doesn't get sold. And so what I said, hey, how do we have a system that has people and technology that create maximum leverage at every single one of those points? And so what we did is we figured out a way to stack the dominoes. And so we have point 1, point 2, point 3, and we stack up those dominoes with the technology and with the team to make sure we do the right things in the right order every single time. And so once you stack those dominoes up, what it does is you knock them down the right order. Now it creates a competitive advantage for your client, which is how properties sell faster and for more money. At the same time, though, what it really was kind of a byproduct of that is our business model became a huge advantage for us, where we're 30 plus agents, lots of buyers agents, listing specialists, inside sales, outside sales. So I can actually afford to spend more money per buyer client, also per seller client. And it really makes us bring more buyers to the table. And so because our business model, where everyone's in alignment, we have a team of specialists, right? We have tens and tens of thousands of buyers that are actively looking that we can match up for our client's property and do that real time with technology based on the previous search patterns, which gives us a massive competitive advantage for our clients. And so I designed a system called the Guaranteed Sold System. The only proven system sells twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. It works very, very, very well. On the flip side, guess what? 100 plus variables right now for home buyers out there when you're trying to buy, especially in a tight market with high interest rates and things are happening right now. You want somebody who's an expert who knows what's going on. So we designed this thing called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Get your priority access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as negotiation of home inspection to get you to that closing table successfully. But more importantly, we talk about this a lot with our team. The most important thing we want to do is we want to be your real estate resource for life. We're not here just to sell you a house. We're here to help you with the house once you get it. Once you need plumbers, electricians, discounts at local places, we're able to do that for you because we want to be your real estate resource for life. And so that's one thing that I think is super, super important right now, because when the market was hot, even 6 to 8 months ago, anybody could sell a house, right? You have all these people that just getting their license. I think agent count jumped up from, we were just talking about this in my office. It was a few years back, it's like 2,500 agents. Now we're like 65 to 6,800 agents. I predict you'll probably see about 20% of those drop out within the next 3 months because they renew, the market is down 40%. And so what happens is you had all these people getting in, they had no clue what they were doing, but they could take some photos on their cell phone, put it MLS, and it would sell. Why is that? Because there was a frenzy going on, right? Buyers from all across the globe, across the country were trying to buy and they couldn't find things to buy fast enough. And so what happened was, as this market has shifted and interest rates have more than doubled, guess what? Now you actually have to be good, which is a marketplace that I like. We thrive in this. I've been in the business since 2005, been licensed really since 2001. And actually, my company was opened in 2008 when everything was hitting the fan. So we're very, very, very good at this. And we understand the marketing piece of this and how to make sure we're doing it. And so I like that type of market better. But if you're a home seller out there, you got to know, look, the agent you choose matters. We had a few horror stories this week. One person who's a longtime listener, their spouse wanted to do for sub owner. They try for sub owner. They can't figure out why it's not selling. It hasn't sold. They've been super frustrated. All of a sudden they called us, but the spouse is still wondering. It's like, dude, you've been listening for a while. You know how this game works. You want the absolute best who can put more money net in your pocket. And so a lot of times people focus on a small percentage or getting the smallest commission. How about you focus on getting the best who can put the most money in your pocket net, which is what we do every single day. I watch people. My mom used to have this saying all the time. It's called a nickel holding up a dollar. And I see a lot of time they'll try to save 2%, but they cost themselves 10% on the actual sales price. And it happens literally every single day. And I watch it happen over and over and over and over and over again. And so if you want to know more about how it works and say, look, why don't you just ask the right questions at the right time and make sure you can say, how do I make the best decision possible with my largest assets? Reach out to me, call me, make sure we can explain it to you. Then you sit down, analyze the data, and you see it from behind the scenes. It makes a whole lot more sense. If you know how either one of those work, you want to know more about it, reach out, call me, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.
Right now, every detail means dollars, and who you hire to negotiate your home, that really matters. Hey, Sean Hannity here, and as an active investor who invests in real estate all across the great country of ours, I want the best negotiator representing my interests. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. They can help you navigate through multiple cash offers, and more importantly, he has turned complicated situations into 5-star reviews. Now check out his rave reviews on Google. Talk to him yourself. If you are on trial with big money at stake, you would want a seasoned negotiator with thousands of victories if they will take you on and you can afford them, right? Well, your home deserves the best representation. Know your options. See how much demand your home can command in this market right now and get the best representation that you deserve. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at BlakeSloan.com. That's BlakeSloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, the only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach that I recommend. You offer several options to home sellers, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers at time crunch, we can agree to sell it by a certain date, pay cash for your home, or even rent it.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
We use our proven marketing plan to sell it for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Brand new market update. The interesting numbers coming off the overall pipe. We'll talk about that. Remember, we talked about this lately, and it's so important because if you've been listening to our show for a little bit, and you go back 3 or 4 weeks, we predicted what was going to happen based on the pending data, right? So we look at what happens every week. I look at this every morning in my office and every morning at home. How many properties went under contract the last 7 days, because we've been doing that since COVID started. And we also look at how many homes are on the market. And so that helps me keep real-time data, like to the day, feel for what's happening. And you watch it go up and down based on what's happened with interest rates lately. But if you look at the last 7 days as of today, 407 properties under contract for 137 million, which is low, right? It's not really the lowest we've seen, but it's pretty low. If you just go last week's show, 445 for 150 million. If you go back to really about 23 weeks ago, it was already declining, but it was 690 under contract for 215 million. And so as you've seen that happen, right, that's the less sales. And that, in my notes going back, was a 25% drop in new deals from the peak when we were around 800 or so that we came in. So the last 7 days, we're down at 407 under contract. There's good news is 944 active listings. Last week was 937 active listings. And here's the deal. Last 7 days, 7 properties over $1 million under contract. Last week, 11 properties over $1 million under contract. So a little bit less there. Pretty close homes over 500,000. 59 this week, 58 last week. And so it's staying on track there overall. But we've seen that trend down as rates go up. The lowest we saw in a long time was 307 under contract back on 10/7. Which is when we had the hurricane come, which kind of threw some things off, but also we had interest rates jump up at the same time. So it's been an interesting week overall. It was not too bad through the middle of the week. Our team absolutely crushed it. We put 24 under contract as a team last week, which is awesome. So very, very proud of our team. We've been grinding hard, pushing hard. And like I mentioned, we built this team and built this system for a market like this and really created this whole company in a market in 2008, 9, and 10, which is kind of where you have to be good and have to hustle. Back before, we just had a bunch of agents in the business here locally just taking orders, right? We call them order takers, but now you need somebody with some hustle and some grit and someone who can actually push hard. And that's how we're getting our sellers top dollar and getting their property sold. We'll jump in really quick to the overall macro market numbers. This is what's going on in the Grand Strand, pretty much Southern North Carolina, down Georgetown, Andrews, into Marion, Mullins, those areas, obviously all of Myrtle Beach. If you look at sales for single family resale homes, which is what the majority of people have, majority of questions we have, that's what I like to use just as a good guide because it's really the most accurate data. Down 28.1% just versus the same month last year. So you're basically comparing October 22 versus October 21, where you back to October last year, 660 properties under contract. So they actually closed, and 477 this year. And so we're down from the peak. We peaked out in March at 703 closed, and we've been trending down pretty much month versus month. We hit a low in July, 508. Right now we're at 477, which is a new low. The last time it's been this low was February 2021. And then before that was May 2020, which is right at 374. And so that was when you saw a lot of the lockdown stuff going on with COVID. People couldn't come in town. So ideally, we're seeing buyers pump the brakes significantly. If you looked at the first couple of days of the actual month, it was over 35%. And so that number has gone down a little bit as data has been entered. That's something to kind of keep watching. Here's the crazy part, though. Prices are actually up month versus month, which is crazy, up 12.0%, which is awesome from the same time last year. And it's actually up month versus month as well. So September this year was $346,000 for the median price. Overall, October, $359,000. So it jumped up significantly there, which is a big surprise. A lot of people are seeing that go back up, and I'll talk about why here in a second. Average sale price also up 12% from the same time last year. It's up month versus month as well, which is also a shock pretty significantly. So right now, the average sale price on the Grand Strand, $454,112, where last month it was $418,000. So significant jump there overall from 418 to 454 just in a 1 month. That was a big surprise to me to see that much. But one thing's been driving that has been supply. Supply is up from year over year. It's up 53.3% from last year versus, right now it's 2.3 months inventory. It's down from September, which is 2.4 months inventory. So we saw it go back down. And I'll talk about why you're seeing that here in a minute. But you have to remember, it's still right now a seller's market, almost a super seller's market still because inventory is still so low. If you go back to let's just go back to April 2020, there was 4.7 months inventory on the market. Right now we're at 2.3. And so we're still not back to pre-COVID in terms of inventory, what's happening. And you're seeing it bounce back up, even though it's up 53%, it's still not anywhere close to where it was pre-COVID. And so that's what we talked about. We talked about this months ago, that low inventory is going to help protect prices. But if I'm a home seller, I see it jump back up recently. I definitely want to take advantage of that right now, especially with the uncertainty going forward with rates. One thing we've really been kind of seeing drive that has been new listings. And so last month in October, there was 554 new listings from the market. That's down 24.2% from last year. But here's the deal. If you look at this year, we capped out in June. So in June of this year, there's 814 new listings. Overall in October, only 554. So significant drop there. And it's really dropped every month since. Some has to do with just sellers being scared. A lot of people, we've seen things that buyers aren't buying. Here's the deal. Buyers are still buying. It's just down from really the frenzy that it was, and it's normalizing in terms of what's happening. We're getting a lot of sellers right now who are getting their properties sold for top dollar. There's some that are struggling, right? You're not going to get March of 2022 prices right now because at that point you can just throw any price out there, get it sold, and buyers are buying it. Right now it's more getting towards normalization. But if I'm thinking about selling my home, so hey, look, I want to max out my equity. I want to cash out the top. We just had another bump in price. Take advantage of that right now, especially before we get into the January, February, March marketplace, right? The grass is brown. It's cold around here. Right now, I get this question a lot too. Is it good to sell a property around the holidays? We're not quite there yet, but I get this already. Like, well, we're going to wait till after the holidays. Here's the thing. It's a really good time because some of our biggest volume months for my company, specifically also in MLS, has been December, where a lot of people have to close before end of the year. They have to relocate or move before end of the year. But also, guess what? One of the biggest, most emotional purchases of anyone's life is their house. And so one of the most emotional times for anyone, both in a positive light, sometimes negative light, if you have some history of that, but it has to be around the holidays, right? You have that feel around it. The houses are decorated. People are buying homes thinking about, hey, look, what's going to happen to this house in the holidays? How am I going to, decorate it? How am I going to have family over? How am I going to entertain here? Those are things that people are really pushing for. And that's a great, great time to put your house out there when there's a lot less competition and you're able to maximize that piece as well. So we'll keep watching that overall. One thing interesting, though, we'll keep watching is showings per listing. Showings per listing did a new low. They're down 38%. And so that's real-time buyer traffic. So right now it's averaging 4.4 showings per listing. We capped out this year in February at 8.3 showings per listing. Guess what happened about that time? Interest rates started jumping up. Buyers started backing off. And you can watch the graph just go down really since February overall. And that's something interesting there to look at as well. Pending sales also down 37.4%. And so it was over 40 just 2 days ago. Some of the new data from last month's finally getting put in. But pending home sales down 37.4% here on the Grand Strand, which is something we'll keep watching overall. But that's just something that I think you're going to see continue happening. Thankfully, prices are holding a little bit tight. We are going to see them decline a little bit, my opinion, going forward. But looking at sales for condos, resale condos, down 39% for condos. So significant drop. It's like looking off a cliff when you watch the graph here. So 421 condo sales versus the peak this year at 804 in March. And so almost 50% less condos than we saw sell the peak. Overall prices still up year versus year, up 19.5% from last year at 225,000. It did drop month versus month from 235 to 225. Average sale price up 13.7% from last year, but it is down month versus month right now at $253,914. Supply of condos, right? That's what we've been seeing. It's up 133% right now. A lot more condos out there, but still only at 2.1 months. And so if I'm thinking about that, still a seller's market, take advantage of that, make the right decisions. One thing we do with our clients is sit down and say, look, here's the data. Here's what's happening in the micro market, aka your neighborhood. Here's how you want to make the best decision going forward. And that's something we'll gladly help you with. So it's all going to come to a case-by-case basis. But if I'm a home seller, prices are still right near hanging on the all-time high. Take advantage of that. What we've seen a lot of our smart investors doing, a lot of times they're cashing out, sitting back, putting that one on the sidelines a little bit, and then jump back in on getting some deals. And they're able to get that done very, very easily. And here's the thing, even though from some homes have softened a little bit price-wise, you can still cap out the very, very peak of the market here. And you're really getting very, very close to full asking price in many cases. One thing to watch out for, though, interest rates. We had a few 2 weeks ago, a new 20-year high, almost 3 days in a week. Right now, it's getting very, very close to that. Jump back up this week. Right now, 30-year fixed rate, 7.30%, which is huge. Very, very close to this 20-year high of 7.37%. A 15-year fix, 6.75% right now. A 30-year jumbo loan, 6.35%. A 5-year adjust rate mortgage, 6.90%. 30-year FHA, 6.82%, and a 30-year VA, 6.85%. As we watch those climb, very, very interesting. You see more buyers pump the brakes. But here's the deal. If I'm buying, there's a great opportunity right now to get some rates bought down by sellers. We're doing that a lot. Got a lot of creativity out there in the marketplace, and you can still get in sometimes 5 in the low 6s. So if you want to know more how it works, reach out, call us, 843-808-SOLD. Take a quick break, right back in a second.
WRNN listeners, Blake Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with 2 mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market
About
with a
4.5
guarantee that will
minutes or
rely
so.
Let's skip that last commercial.
what Sloan can offer you. So when you're looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 5-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's shows Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers who are looking to buy here in the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach area from $250,000 up to $1.3 million. If you're thinking about selling, please contact us immediately. 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808. So one thing we've been doing here the entire time we've been doing this show for 12 plus years is putting my money where my mouth is. We outspend the average agent here 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. As this market has taken a huge hit and slowed down 30 and 40%, guess what we've done? I've kept the marketing doubled down. We have not cut back by our marketing yet. We have buyers from all across the globe right now still looking here because we have the plan to be able to capture market share. While most agents are running scared, we're well capitalized and doubling down for our seller clients right now. So active buyers that we have looking at our website right now, 69,935 active buyers. Again, 69,935 active buyers, which is awesome, from all over the globe. Right now, I got Val from Charlotte, North Carolina. I got Angel from Lillington, North Carolina. I got Bob from Northeastern Massachusetts. I got David from Dundalk, Maryland. I got New Jersey, Minnesota, Lexington, South Carolina, Hyde Park, New York, Wilson, North Carolina, Princeton, West Virginia, all over Albany, New York. And so we have lots of buyers who are still looking here. And here's the deal. Myrtle Beach is still very, very, very attractive for a lot of people. And so if you want to think about that and you're thinking about selling, anybody you know, if you want to do me one favor, if they mention the word selling, so you got to call my buddy Blake. And that's the only thing we ask for. We try to give you great information in the show, keep you updated, and say, look, I just need you guys to help me out. Anybody you come across at dinner, at lunch, you work with, relative, whatever it is, they mention selling, say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake. Go ahead and save me your phone, 843-808-SOLD, and say, look, call Blake ASAP. My team and I'll be all over it. And that's the most rewarding thing we can ever get, somebody from this show that refers us to someone else. So really quick, proud of success stories right now. Two quick ones really quick. Dan and Heidi recently purchased a new property, needed to sell their previous home, so they weren't stuck owning two properties and the cost of maintaining both. Thankfully, Dan heard about myself and Sloan Group on the radio, decided to give us a call. Their main concern, though, was condition of their property and how much they get for the home if they sold it in the current condition versus what they get for if they fix it back up. We came in, gave them advice on exactly how to get the most return possible, spending the least amount of money. Dan and Heidi took our advice. I designed a custom plan, launched our global marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough in just a few days. We received an offer on the property, almost full asking price, for way more money than they even thought possible for getting their home right now, without having to do a bunch of work to the house as well. So that's one thing that most people overthink what they need to do to it. We can give you the best things at the lowest cost and get you the highest return on that part. Other one really quick, Darius decided it's time for him to upgrade his home for his growing family. They had some family land in Conway they wanted to build a house on. Before he could start, though, he needed to maximize money from the sale of his current home to be able to build his dream home on his land. He wanted to make sure that he chose an agent to help him get the most amount of money. Thankfully, he did research online, came across Sloan Realty Group and myself, Blake Sloan, found over 750 five-star reviews on Google, gave us a call, met with him, shared exactly how he sold many homes in his neighborhood. Each time he set a new record for his neighborhood, designed a custom plan, virtual reality walkthrough in just a few days, had multiple offers. Darius selected offer over asking price. Now can start the process of building a new family home, leveraging maximum equity from their current home. So if you want to be a success story, do so, right? There's so many horror stories right now. Everyone out there is desperate in terms of agents. We're very well capitalized. We've been doing this for a very, very long time. You get away with slacking before. Right now, you need the absolute best. You need an expert who studies this game. So refer your friends to us. Give us a call, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com anytime.